McMaster, and I'm the president of Amplify Mission Network. And Amplify is when business leaders and nonprofit changemakers stop working alone and start building together. We connect leaders like you with the nonprofit leaders that are making a difference in our community and around the world. So thank you so much for being here. We have a really, really special night for you, and I'm excited for you to experience it along with us. I wanted to start by beginning with one of my favorite pictures that I right here. So I'll tell you a little bit about it. Last year, I handed out these dominoes when people came in the room, and that was in January. And I asked everybody to write on a domino, what is a skill, a talent, a gift, an area of expertise that you are bringing in this room tonight? And as you can see up on the screen, there's a picture of some of those words. So I have this hanging up in my office, and this is to remind me that this truly is what Amplify is all about. It is you walking into this space with different skills, backgrounds, experience, ideas, connections, and your domino becomes a part of something bigger. There's a ripple effect impacting the nonprofits that we have the joy of supporting and the communities that they serve. I'm going to be sharing some of the impact that Amplify has had on some of the nonprofits that have stood on this stage and presented in the past after our keynote tonight. But Amplify truly doesn't work without your willingness to show up. So thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedules to be here. And if you are new with us this evening, I want to extend a very special welcome to you. So I think many of you who are new saw our hospitality hosts who were walking around earlier this evening with the balloons tied to their wrists, and that was on purpose. That was so that you noticed them, or that they were somebody to greet you. But if you are new here this evening and you still have questions about Amplify, at the end of the evening, we will have some of our staff at the back of the room next to our Get Involved sign that can answer questions that you have. Our board members also have special name tags on, and they'd be willing and really love to answer any of the questions that you might have. We are so thankful for our sponsor tonight, Schuler Shoes. I've had a couple people show me their Schuler shoes as they came in this evening. So thank you for that. That's an extra bonus to Schuler's. But Schuler's truly, if you don't know about them, they truly are generous in our community, and they have the spirit of giving back. So tonight, we have something special to give from Schuler's to a couple of people in this room. So if you are new with us this evening, would you just raise your hand? That is amazing. That is amazing. So I hope you saw that there's like somebody new at almost every table. So that is fabulous. I love that so much. So I wish that I could give something to every new person this evening, but we have 2 Schuler's gift cards to give away. And so 2 of you who are new here this evening will be going home with a Schuler's gift card. So the first person, please come up to the stage and get that too, when I announce your name, is Jolisa Fuentes Roberts. Jolisa. Awesome. Thanks for being here. Okay. And the second person is Anna Luktik. Anna Luktik. Awesome. Yes, thank you. Okay, now I want to meet all of the new people and find out how you heard about Amplify. If you know me, I love connecting. So I look forward to connecting with many of you. So thank you so much for being here. Okay, I'm going to also just talk a little bit about our sponsors who make tonight possible. So Schuler Shoes, they helped provided the food for you this evening and all of the resources to put on this event. So we do look for sponsors for each one of our events. It just is a huge gift to the Amplify community for that. So if that's of interest to you, I'd love to have a conversation with you about that as well. Also want to thank Grace-Filled Table. So if you've been to an Amplify session before, Grace-Filled Table is a nonprofit based in Farmington, Farmington, and their mission is to gather people around food and around the table. And so it just felt really fitting that they were a nonprofit who serves us during our AMP sessions. And I also want to thank Randy, who's in the back of the room. He blesses us with his gift of photography every AMP session, so thank you, Randy. All right, I'm going to take us into a time of prayer, and then we'll get into the rest of our evening. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for bringing each person into this room tonight. Thank you for the leaders, the nonprofits, and the stories represented here. We ask that you would guide our time together, that you would open our minds to see new possibilities and open our hearts to care deeply. We don't want this to just be an event, we want it to matter. So would you help us to listen well, connect well, and leave here ready to act in what you stir in us. And we thank you for the two nonprofits who are presenting here tonight and the ways that they are meeting critical needs in their communities. Will you continue to guide Bonnie with the Light of Hope Kenya and Christy with Southern Valley Alliance in their leadership? They desire to serve you in their work, and we pray that they continue to seek you as they pour into others. And thank you that we get to be a part of lifting them up tonight. We give this evening to you in your precious name. Amen. All right, this is what our agenda will look like for the evening. In just a moment, you are going to hear from our guest speaker. Then you will meet the nonprofits and hear their stories, their missions, and their dreams for the future. And then after that, we get to do something uniquely Amplify. We'll open up this space to brainstorm together, imagine new possibilities, and collaborate for impact. That brainstorm session is about 30 minutes, and then we'll wrap up our evening. But now we're going into our keynote speaker portion of the evening, and it is my joy to introduce to you a dear friend of mine who's also an executive recruiter, an author of Shine Brighter, Laura King. With over 2 decades of experience guiding high performers toward clarity and purpose and a faith that grounds her in knowing that she is a child of God, Laura brings a powerful message about waking up, realigning, and leading with intention and a deeper sense of purpose so that we can truly amplify our impact. So please join me in welcoming Laura King.
Jump on stage. I'm just going to jump.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Is this thing on? Test, 1, 2, 3. Okay, I'm going to back up a little bit. Welcome. Do you know how terrified I am right now? Like, I don't think you really understand. When God begins to talk to you and asks you to step out, and you're like, what? What do you want? Like, I am trembling, and you want me to come up on the stage, and this time with no note cards, and give a message to a room of wonderful, wonderful, wonderful people. Some know me, some don't. And you are all here for all different reasons, but what unites you? There's something that unites all of you. It's right here. And that's what brought you here, because not many people do this. And so Andrea asked if I would give my personal story tonight. And of course, the enemy comes in and says, what? You don't have that great of a story? No one really wants to listen to you. Because you see, I still have that voice from 8th grade. That voice that says, you're no good. Who do you think you are? These girls wrote a top 25 reasons that we hate Laura list, pinned it to my locker, and turned all of my friends against me. And so absolutely no self-confidence, hid at recess, and ate lunch in the bathroom the last 90 days of my 8th grade year. I didn't love me. And then everything outside was reflective of that. And so this was when the program of, if I can't be loved and accepted for who I am, I better be something. Do something really important. And that's when I made the decision that I was good enough as long as I was getting straight A's. I was good enough as long as I had a 4.0. You guys, I should have been out having fun in high school, and I was home studying and missing out on life. And this pattern continued of something external that made me feel worthy, loved, and accepted. Something external to make me feel like I was enough. So here we are, it's 2023. From the outside, looked like I had a really good life. 4 kids, well-known recruiter, and then of course, making sure that my name is on the top of the leaderboard. Because again, remember, I only am okay if that dictates my worth. So God was like, this is stopping. No, we're not doing this anymore. And 2023 was the year that I was completely disconnected. But that's what he wanted. He wanted to strip this identity that was, you're not enough unless there's something external that tells you you're enough. Who am I if I'm not achieving? Who am I without that? The outside world thinks you're winning, but inside, there's something in your soul that's screaming. So God was like, okay, you're at the top. We're going to move you all the way to the bottom, Laura. We're going to go, shh. And I remember just going out of my mind, going crazy. Who am I if I'm not this high achiever? And yet now I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm so thankful for this. I'm so thankful for this because it moved me into this direction that God wanted to take me on. And I knew that he was like, yeah, you've been recruiting, but we want you over here, Laura. We want you to start these purpose workshops and put yourself out there. I'm like, what? You want me to do what? This is the time that I started writing Shine Brighter, trying to understand what was happening of all of these things that I thought were what made me successful. God was like, no. So, a couple other things that you need to know about my 2023. Because I was not present at all in my body and I was anxiously having this almost out-of-body panic attack every day, that my son was just getting in trouble at school and throwing chairs and saying how much he wanted to run away. And we're at this neurofeedback clinic, and I am there for my son. And this is what God does. In that moment, it was like, this is your path too, Laura. This is your path too of healing, of taking this false identity rooted in your childhood and showing you that when you continue to step out and do the things that only He calls you to do, watch out. Watch out. Who has something on their heart tonight that life is lifing a little bit, and you're like, what is God trying to do? I want to take you through my 4A framework. I'm going to say about that picture over there. I was so wildly uncomfortable. I'm like, wait, if I am going to put myself out there and share this book, you want me to do what? Like, it's just continuously stepping outside your comfort zone. Continuously, and you have no idea what's on the other side. And I'm kind of like, what? But letting God's gifts shine through you. And so this is the shine brighter journey. And I have these 4A's I constantly am like, okay, if we can think about the awareness, okay, what's like bubbling up to the surface? What's coming up for you that God's like stirring? So getting on clear of, I'm not these voices that are pulling me down. I am a child of God, right? Who am I? To then move into attitude where you're like, which one is true? Where do I go? Left, right, left, right. And for me, it was like, I can't keep falling into this mindset of, poor me, why me? So bad, it hurts, I'm so suffering. It's like, no. Over here, you do have agency, you do have choice. You can move into then action. Because nothing changes if nothing changes, right? If we're just ruminating about it, then nothing changes, right? And we're all called to do out his work through us, through our gifts, and that looks different for you, then it looks different for you, and we're all this unique expression. And then when you kind of come to the end of the cycle, what do you get? You get alignment, inner peace. Alignment, inner peace. So I want to ask you, what misalignment are you tolerating right now? And let God speak to you. What misalignment are you tolerating right now? Just take another moment and let the Lord speak with you. Part of what I do now is I reflect on everything at the end of the day. And I wrote something last night, and I'd like to share that with you. Because what God has given me is He's told me I just have to be wildly authentic about what I'm going through, wildly authentic about my life. Because you'll find yourself, and maybe not my story, but you'll find yourself in someone's story. The anxiety, I've been feeling about speaking is because part of me is trying to protect me. The voices, the ones worried about how I'll be perceived, whether I'll say the right thing, whether it will be good enough. That's not my truth. That's fear. That's the part of me that wants to stay safe, small, and in control. And I see it now when I drop into who I really am, my grounded, soulful self. I don't need to perform. I don't need to prove anything. I don't need for this to be perfect. I just need to show up and serve. That's it. There's something so freeing about realizing that this is not about me. This is not about me at all. It's not about being impressive. It's about being in the moment and sharing moments with one another. This reminds me, I'm not doing this alone. I am guided, constantly guided when I tune in, slow down enough to pay attention. The clues are there. God doesn't care if I mess up. He cares about my heart being in the right place. Service, love, joy. And I can trust what comes through. And it doesn't need to be perfect to be powerful. And those voices will still show up from my past. I can see them and choose to not entangle with them. If fear shows up, I'll let it sit in the passenger seat. God's in the driver's seat. Maybe this next chapter is the one where you realize you made it through everything that tried to break you. Maybe this next chapter is the one you stop doubting yourself so much and start trusting who you are is already more than enough. Maybe this next chapter is the one where something good finally stays. Love grows, and peace doesn't feel temporary. Maybe this next chapter is the one you look back and realize everything wasn't meant to break you, but to bring you here. And some of you are way further along on this journey and could be mentors for those of us who are just newbies. But just know the people that look like they have it all together, they might be fronting. And when we are so wildly, authentically us and just be, we actually give permission for those others to open up to us. I'd like everyone, if you're comfortable, to put your arms out to receive. Because I know a lot of you give to so many people. You give and you give and you give. I want you right now to receive. Receive his love first, and then you pour into others. Receive his love first, and then you pour into others. All right. So I'm on this kind of wild journey now, and I'm like, I don't know where God's taken me. I think I do a little bit. So I just want to let you know. Well, I'm going to be out there. I've got my book out there. I'd love to talk to you. And this entire process has been continuously stepping out. And if you want to follow along on this journey as I'm bringing this into companies to really transform a lot of things that are near and dear to my heart as an executive recruiter and hearing for so long why so many people are unhappy, to bring more joy and love and community back into our workspaces. Thank you, Andrea, so much. And thank you to all of you that just continuously pour into others. It does not go unnoticed. Like, your energy is amazing. And I am so privileged to be here tonight and be around such amazing people. So thank you for being here.
Thank you so much, Laura. So Laura and I met a couple of years ago when I was going through a journey myself. I didn't even know that Amplify existed. Some people in the room that are nodding heads over here kind of knew that, but Laura, as you can tell, speaks her truth, and she was able to speak that over me in that time of just really moving forward and asking the Lord, what do you want for me in my life? What do you want me to do? What do you want me to know? And that became my daily prayer. And I didn't even know Amplify existed at that moment. But then Amplify walked into my life. And so I'm very grateful to be here and Laura being a part of that journey with me and just praying that through. So it's very meaningful to have her step up on this stage and present here tonight. So want to just transition a little bit because I think it's important. There's so many new people here in the room that you understand what Amplify does. A lot of times I hear it's so great to be involved in these brainstorm sessions after the nonprofits present, but I want to know what happened to that nonprofit that presented last year if I was there before. And I think it gives you a lot of encouragement when you have an idea of what you do tonight does really matter. And I was just speaking with some people that JSAW, if you were here last month when JSAW presented, Greg was mentioning to me, they have a marketing advisory team of some of the best marketing minds that are meeting once a month with JSAW to help them with their marketing. I mean, that is how God shows up. We don't put that together. God does, and we're thankful for Greg and stepping forward in that, to that. But that's the beauty of what happens here tonight. So very grateful for that. So we have 3 programs at Amplify. One is the AMP Journey, and tonight you are experiencing the AMP Journey. What you don't know is a lot of hard work has gone in with these nonprofits who are presenting tonight of really peeling back the layers of their organizations. What's the biggest strategic challenges they are facing, and how can we invite the community in to help move through those challenges so they can be propelled forward, so that they can serve more people in their communities. So that's a big part of what we do at Amplify. But as you know, we only have so many months of the year, so we only have so many nonprofits who can present on this stage and be at a big event like this. So we have 2 other really instrumental programs, and one is the AMP Academy. And we've had over 50 nonprofit leaders go through our AMP Academy this year, and that is a nonprofit leadership academy, really teaching leaders about foundational elements of running their organization as strong leaders, leading their teams well, and leading their organizations well. And then our 3rd program is called AMP Up, and many of you here in this room are a part of that program. And what that is for nonprofits who don't have the opportunity to present up on this stage but have strategic issues that they are facing, we are able to pair with them a mentor or a consultant to do one-on-one mentoring every month. And so we have about 60 nonprofits that are in our AMP Up program right now. So overall, we serve about 225 nonprofits. To date, we've given away 15,000 pro bono hours. So that's a part of what Amplify is. I'm going to share a couple of impact stories. So last year, we had 2 nonprofits come on the stage, and their question to the group was similar. Basically, how do I build the right partnerships to grow? One of them was don't shoot guns, shoot hoops. If you remember Tommy with all of his energy as the executive director being up on this stage, He presented, and he said that some of these partnerships through the connections that have come through this room have led to him speaking at a Governor Walz press conference. He will be the only one going to Washington, D.C. as a representative from the state of Minnesota to the Gun Sense University, which is a gathering of leaders who are working against gun violence prevention, thanks to a connection through the Amplify community. And this is a fun one. He was chosen to receive the financial contribution from Mr. Basketball, who happens to be Christian Wiggins, this year, who made a financial gift in recognition. So some really neat partnerships. At the same time, he's served 150 youth that have gone through his basketball programs this year from 40 different high schools. And he said the principals are seeing such a difference in the youth that have gone through his programs, they're starting to endorse him as well. So that is a huge gift. Hope-Filled Cafe, they again were on this stage last year. Since then, they've had greater clarity about their intentional path forward, and that clarity has led to them being selected as a vendor for the 2026 Special Olympics USA Games. So very, very exciting. This will be a huge deal for them as they are hiring also a general operations manager for this busy summer season. And if you remember, they serve adults with cognitive disabilities. So very exciting for them. And then also an Amplify partner stepped up to provide pro bono messaging and fundraising support. And Executive Director Andrea Ratfield put it this way. She said, "Amplify gave me both clarity and confidence to grow with intention, not just urgency." So this is a little taste of what we do with Amplify. So now I want to tell you about a way that you can get involved is our fundraiser that's coming up next week. And tickets do close on Sunday. So if you've been thinking about, hey, this would be really fun to go to, head coach of the Vikings, Kevin O'Connell, will be speaking. He'll be doing a Q&A with voice of the Vikings, Paul Allen, and we'd love for you to be there. So tickets close on Sunday, and tonight I want to let you know, thanks to Proudy Project, one of our sponsors of the event, they are gifting you $50 off your ticket if you use the code Proudy50. So we would love for you to be there or consider that. I know some of you have been saying, well, you are still checking your calendars. Well, now is the time for that. So as we move into the next portion of our evening, would you please take out your feedback form at your table? And you'll notice on the top of your feedback form, there is a place to put your name. So I would love for you to do that now, so you don't forget to do that. This feedback form is a place for you to capture your encouragement, your ideas, your connections, questions as the nonprofits present. These forms are summarized, they are turned in at the end of the night, and we do share this feedback with the executive directors, so just know the briefing doc you'll take with you, but this form is turned in at the end of the night. There is a tangible needs box in this section on your feedback form. This is a check the box. I think I could meet this need, so please take a look at all of that on both sides as well. There's one side for our first nonprofit presenting and another side for the second nonprofit. All right, for the very special part of this evening with our nonprofits presenting, I just am going to first thank our coaches who have poured in the last 3 months through these nonprofits. Prayed for them, prayed for the nonprofit leaders, prayed for their organizations, helped clarify their message, strengthened their strategic ask, offered their wisdom and perspective, and invested really their time and their heart. We are so incredibly grateful for these coaches for these 2 nonprofits, so please give them a round of applause. And now I'd love to invite up Catherine Preby, who's going to introduce our first nonprofit of the evening.
Hi. I've had the privilege of working with Bonnie, Sandy, and Aaron from Light of Hope Kenya through the coaching process over the past 2 months. Together, Bonnie and Sandy co-founded Light of Hope Kenya. Sandy's from Minnesota and Bonnie's from Kenya. God brought them together from over 8,700 miles apart to serve His purpose, both in marriage and for Kingdom Work in Kenya, and Bonnie will be representing them both on stage. Light of Hope Kenya is serving as the hands and feet of Jesus on the ground in Kenya, meeting girls where they're at in their dire circumstances and giving them a new chance at a blessed life. I was touched by Bonnie's enthusiasm for empowering girls to break the cycle of poverty in Kenya. And please join me in welcoming Bonnie to the stage.
Jambo, hakuna matara. That's the well-known phrase. Yes, I'm Bonnie Karanja. Habari. Oh, you gotta say mzuri. Habari yako. That means, how are you? How are you? In Swahili. And in Kenya, when you ask someone that, you mean it. You stop. You look them in the eye, you truly want to know them. Today, I want you to truly know about girls of Kenya, about what they face, and about what happens when someone refuses to look. Imagine you are a 13-year-old girl. Your mother is gone, your father is gone. You live in one-room home with dirty floor, no electricity, and nothing to eat tomorrow. Around you, old men with money make promises, traffickers make offers. The highway nearby claims the lives of young girls, found there, discarded, forgotten, and statistics of life lost so soon. The poverty is deepening. The population is growing. Young women are undervalued, increasingly vulnerable to trafficking, prostitution, and femicide. In towns like Naivasha, where I grew up, trucking routes have created what locals call red light district. The girls being pulled are children. The crisis is not getting better. It's getting worse. This is happening right now, and the world is not paying attention. You are leaders who have never built a career by looking away from challenge. 25 years ago, we refused to look away, and Light of Hope was born. Now I'm asking you to do the same. There is Zipporah's video.
My mom passed on in 2002, whereby I had to be left with my grandma, and life there was unbearable. I used to go to do casual work at a young tender age, and thereafter there was post-violence that made me to move from where I used to live with my grandma, and my sister took me. And again, my sister didn't have a good way to provide for me, especially when it comes to education. So I also had to hustle with her, going for casual work, until we got a friend who connected us with Light of Hope. Wow, Light of Hope was amazing. It was the greatest place to be ever in my life, because there was food, there was security for me as a girl. I needed security. There was good stuff, so I felt I'm in the right place where everything mine was taken care of. Currently, I'm on-site manager in Light of Hope. For sure, it has not been easy, but through God and Light of Hope family, they have been there supporting me. Mine is to make sure that the girl child can work by themselves to sustain themselves in the current world, not relying on men, but rather working extra hard to come up with something that they can feed their family.
Yeah, that is Zipporah. Light of Hope Girls School's transformation. She arrived broken and forgotten. Today she thrives, empowered and unstoppable. Your compassion transforms lives and builds future. Meet Margaret. She was on the streets of Nairobi, beaten, sniffling, grew, living in slums, despised and forgotten. No dreams, no future, no one coming for her. But Margaret had a candle burning in her heart that poverty could not extinguish. When Sandy and I found her on those Nairobi streets, we saw what the world had missed, a girl worthy fighting for. She became our first girl. She became first. She became Light of Hope. That transformation, that is why I'm standing here, why we started this, our calling, Sandy and I. We need to tell you something personal. We did not choose this work the way we choose our career. God brought a burden down on our hearts. Sandy, along 27 years ago, we saw girls in Kenya, brilliant, beautiful, full of potential, being swallowed by poverty and danger. And we heard something inside of us say, you cannot walk away past this. So we didn't. 27 years ago, Light of Hope began. Now not with a big budget, not with a strategic plan, with a calling, with a few girls who deserve a chance, and with a belief that refuge, restoration, and redirection can change everything. Our mission to provide refuge, restoration, and redirection for the girls of Kenya who have experienced trauma, neglect, or hardship. Our vision, we envision Light of Hope community where girls are instilled with deep sense of hope for their future and inspired to redefine what is possible in their lives. The 3 R's stands for refuge, a place to live, learn, and belong. Restoration, healing from trauma, poverty, and abandonment. Redirection, education, skills, and a future they could never have imagined. Over 25 years ago, more than 400 girls have passed through our doors, both residential students and community day scholars. Today, we serve 150 girls. Many live on campus. Some come daily. All of them are loved. We provide STEM education, high-quality education. The medical clinic on site serves to help students as well as the community outreach. We are debt-free. We are accountable, governed by a board in Minnesota and well-trained, dedicated staff. We are small, and we are making a big impact. When you come to Light of Hope, you don't just visit, you ignite. Mission teams share love through mentorship in business, medicine, STEM, and arts. They work alongside girls on real projects, help in our clinic, repair buildings with their hands, and sit with students, listening, encouraging them, showing them what is possible. Those relationships change everything. A girl who meets a doctor, an engineer, a businesswoman, suddenly believes she can become one. Come be the hands of Jesus. Our girls are waiting. I was starving, invisible, broken. Now Light of Hope made me. My dark past faded, replaced by a brilliant future where I finally belong and dream. I would like to share with you a video of a little girl who lived in the past, and we affectionately call her Baby Faith.
Hello, my name is Faith Wanjiko.
Faith Wanjiko is second born in a family of 2 siblings. She used to stay with her mother, who was a teenage mother, full of stress after being gang raped and was living under a poverty-stricken family. The father was a drug addict using alcohol and marijuana. He also defiled Faith's elder sister, which led to his imprisonment. The situation at home was so unbearable for Faith, and this made the mother to project hatred towards Faith, leading to neglect. Faith was weak, malnourished, and a lonely child. She never smiled and kept crying most of the time. After the case was reported to Light of Hope, I visited the home. From observation, the child needed a good environment to grow as a normal child. She was malnourished and she was always crying most of the time. Faith's skin was dry and extremely dirty. She was underweight, but despite the condition, the mother had never taken her for any checkups. On 11th March 2021, Faith was rescued to Light of Hope. The first intervention was to see a doctor who prescribed Faith nutrition for 1 month. Weekly weight checkup was done and prescription for some vitamins to boost her immunity was given. Currently, Faith is in grade 1 and her favorite subject is English. During her leisure time, she likes skipping with her friends and also she likes coloring. In future, Faith wants to be a pilot.
I thank Daddy Bonnie and Mom Sandy for Light of Hope. I love you.
You want to know what keeps me going? What keeps me and Sandy going and the rest of the board? It is the girl who arrives broken, silent, eyes down, convinced she has no value. And 6 months later, she is laughing in a safe place again, dreaming, thriving in classroom, painting pictures, singing songs she wrote herself, becoming a woman God intended her to be. It is graduation day. Caps, gowns, tears, cheers, girls walking across a stage who were once walking towards destruction. This is our joy every single time. We measure success in transformed lives, in girls who go back to their community, as leaders, in women who tell their daughters, I was once lost. Someone found me. Light of Hope. More than 400 stories, more than 400 reasons keep on going. We are ready to grow, but we cannot do it alone. We need expanded dormitories and classroom. Every empty bed is a girl still on the street. Every overcrowded classroom is a dream deferred. These milestones still take all hands on deck. We need your networks, your colleagues, your voices. Stand with us. Engage your workplace. Spread the word. Because when we build more space, we are not just building walls. We are building futures. But there is what keeps us awake at night. For every girl we reach, there are hundreds we cannot. The need is growing faster than our capacity. Poverty is increasing, families are fracturing, girls are disappearing. We have room for more. We have model. We have the heart. Not because it's a nice number, Because what we need is awareness, partners who believe what we believe, that every girl deserves a chance. By the year 2030, we want to double our outreach. The need demands it. I leave you with this question, and we believe the people in this room can answer it. How can Light of Hope increase engagement in the US and the great Minnesota to build long-term support, volunteers, involvement, and corporate partnership? We are a small ministry. We serve a God who multiplies, and we are standing in front of the most creative, connected, resourceful people in Minnesota. You have networks we have never touched, companies with operations in Kenya, like Medtronic, Cargill, Land O'Lakes, General Mills, Crown Plaza, and the list goes on that they operate in Kenya. Professionals with skills our girls need: business, medicine, technology, finance, marketing, and education. It is 2030. A girl who was rescued from roadside in Naivasha is now a nurse, a teacher, an entrepreneur. She is raising her own daughters differently because someone somewhere refused to look away. That someone could be connected to you. We just returned from Kenya, and my heart is still there. We came straight here to tell you what we witnessed with firsthand. 15 business leaders, professionals, and family traveled with us. They worked alongside our girls with their own hands, shared their skills, and left pieces of their hearts on that campus. Now I'm personally inviting you to come. See it yourself. Nothing compares like standing on the grounds where transformation happens. Asante sana. Thank you so much. Now it's time to change lives. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you, Boni. Yeah. So Boni said his heart is in Kenya. I think some of you have your hearts in Kenya now after listening to that. Yeah. So thank you. Thank you for bringing us to Kenya tonight. Okay, we have a couple of minutes for questions from the big group. Know that Boni and his wife Sandy, who's here, and some of the staff and board will be walking around during the brainstorming, and they'll be able to answer any other questions. But right now is a moment where we ask the broad room if you have any questions for Boni that maybe somebody else has as well. Yep, Lonnie. Do the girls age out of the program at some point in time?
We definitely don't kick them out, but I think as they turn to be teenagers, 18 years old, they are realizing they are adults. Some are starting to go to college and they find they have life, but we keep on mentoring them or welcoming back just to give them insight how life is, but there is always people who are helping them to maneuver what is going outside there.
So some of them do, in a way, graduate.
Yeah,
like they get jobs and they move on to other things in their life, but you stay a part of their life and mentoring them. Yes. Yep, back here.
Yeah, a big part of your income is events. Can you tell us what that means and how that looks for you?
So a big part of your income is events. So can you talk a little bit about what that revenue from events looks like for you?
We do have events here in the Twin City. We have a gala always in springtime. That is April. We have a big attendance from people from Minnesota and businesses that sponsor that event. And then we have, of course, churches. We are open to raising funds using the churches, and they open for us. They are here in Twin City, and also just like business and individuals. Individuals, they are great. They are our ambassador. When they go to Kenya and come back, they know what is going on. So that has been great.
Okay, great. Yes, Clinton.
What is the average length of a mission trip to your organization?
So what's an average length of a mission trip to visit Kenya and see the work you're doing?
Most of the guys, they live here for 10 days. They go there, it's 16 hours, of course, of flight, 8 hours to Amsterdam. And then within 10 days, they are back home here. It's a short trip, but anybody is welcome to always stay even longer.
But get lots of hugs
Yeah.
from the girls,
Yeah.
right? And they get a safari. A lot of people volunteer, sometimes go on a safari.
Yes, I'm like going for safari that way.
Yes. So very, very special experience. Yes. Yes, back here.
Do you use mission trips at all for longer times to fund volunteer work? Like, I don't mean funds, but to use the volunteerism to actually support the work there?
So when the mission groups go to Kenya, do they volunteer with the girls? What does that look like, right? Is that what you're asking? Like with some of the entrepreneurial skills and...
I'm thinking of like Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. They have students that volunteer for 2 years at a time.
a
They
long,
can actually utilize labor.
okay, a long volunteer group, like in a...
I think we have had a few here and there, but we'll love to stretch. But of course, also we have to work with the government of Kenya getting their visa, renewed. And of course, there is always opportunity. It's just how long somebody wants to stay, but there are few people who
You would
have
work with
time.
somebody if somebody wanted to pour
Right.
STEM skills into one of the girls and they want to be there longer term, you'd probably
Oh,
work
yeah.
with them.
Yeah,
Yeah,
sure.
yeah. Okay, so we're going to wrap up the question time. Sorry, Tim. And because I want to make sure that before I end this, yep, you can leave, Bonnie.
Okay,
thank you
thank
so much. We're really, really grateful. He's like, can I get off the stage? No, I'm really grateful. I do want to just give a note on behalf of Light of Hope Kenya. As you go into brainstorming, if you do choose to brainstorm tonight for Light of Hope Kenya, they did ask me to share with you before brainstorming that maybe social media strategies will come up in your brainstorming. And Light of Hope Kenya has to be extremely careful about not posting individual girl stories or identifiable images on public platforms due to trafficking risks and need to protect girls' identities. So just do keep that in mind during brainstorming tonight. Now we'll shift to our next nonprofit, and I'd love to invite up Heidi Dick, who is going to introduce them.
I just have to first say, wow. And thank you, Bonnie and Sandy, for what you do. So important, so moving, so. And as I was thinking about that, I was also thinking here too, at any given moment, there are people in our own community that are facing situations that most of us would never want to experience either, in a different way, but moments of fear and uncertainty and violence. And in those moments, having somewhere to turn can really make the difference. So tonight we have an opportunity to learn from another nonprofit, a leader who works quietly to change lives exactly in those moments. She holds a degree in social work and a master's degree in public policy. She's worked in a variety of social service fields for many years, or roles in many years. And recently, I've had an opportunity to get to know her beyond her credentials, to see that she's a remarkably bright, organized, and competent leader with a heart that guides and gives her direction from God. Her name is Christy Larson. I'd love to welcome her tonight. She's bringing her skills and experience to the Southern Valley Alliance, or SVA, It's a nonprofit designed to support individuals and families experiencing violence, work that's not only essential, but deeply human and close to the heart of God. So with just a small team, this nonprofit has been able to provide critical services. She's going to tell us more about those services and the challenges, but also the opportunities, and an invitation to all of you to speak into some of those solutions and things that you can contribute to as well. So hopefully we can together make a difference in the lives of others in the future. So welcome, Christy Larson.
Thank you so much, Heidi. And thank you to all of my coaches and the Amplify team for having me here tonight and giving me this opportunity to share with you about an organization that is near and dear to my heart. That is Southern Valley Alliance. So Southern Valley Alliance for Battered Women was founded by a domestic violence survivor in 1982. Since that time, SVA has remained the only provider of domestic violence services in Scott and Carver counties. Over the last 43 years, we have assisted over 25,000 individuals on their journey toward a violence-free life. While we primarily we primarily serve Scott and Carver counties, but we're not limited to that area, and we do serve individuals throughout the state. SVA is a part of Violence Free Minnesota, which is a statewide coalition of domestic violence service providers. And many people do have the assumption that our services are fully funded by the state or the county, but they are not.
We see it as police officers all the time where victims have no idea what to do next. They don't know where to move to. They don't know what legal responsibilities are coming. And SVA can help provide all those answers. This is not a government organization. This is a nonprofit that is doing really important work and is partnering with everyone in the community to provide a service that is really not provided by anybody else.
So nationally, 1 in 3 women and 1 in 4 men experience intimate partner violence. More than half of those cases are never reported. Domestic violence exists in every community, and it often goes beyond physical harm. It shows up as emotional, financial, and psychological abuse. So take just a moment to think about the people in your life. 1 in 3 women and 1 in 4 men will experience domestic violence. It's not just a statistic. It could be someone you know, someone at your workplace, a colleague, a neighbor, a son, or a daughter. And that's why I'm here today. At SVA, we urgently need your expertise and your support to help end this cycle and protect survivors. Every day, we provide crisis support, advocacy, and prevention education to help survivors find safety. Some of our programs include a 24/7 crisis line, which is free and confidential. Trained advocates can provide intervention, including emergency transportation, safe hotel stays, or provide emotional support to victims. SVA has both a virtual and an in-person support group each week for survivors to connect with their peers and receive education and resources. Our legal advocate provides support around navigating the legal system with clients, as well as accompanying them to court. She will assist in helping them write and file an order for protection or harassment restraining order. And our prevention education helps teach young people and people of all ages about domestic violence, and that there are places to go for help if you are experiencing abuse. We focus a lot of our prevention education in our middle and high schools. We also have a transitional housing program where we'll assist victims and their children for up to 24 months with safe housing and housing support. And all of these services I just talked about are provided by our small staff of just 7 people. So here are some of our key numbers from last year. We served over 1,200 individual clients, answered our crisis line over 2,000 times. We're definitely busy, and that need just continues to grow. Let me take you through a journey of one survivor we assisted. Recently, our advocate supported a victim named Rachel. She came to us in the middle of a terrifying night when a local police officer called our crisis line directly from the scene of an assault. After returning home from work, Rachel had been punched in the face by her husband, who had a history of abuse. In that moment, she was not only in pain, but deeply afraid for her safety and for the safety of her 2 young children. With nowhere safe to go and no vehicle because her husband had fled in the car, Rachel turned to SVA. One of our advocates stayed with her through the crisis, helping arrange an emergency hotel stay for the night, along with transportation to the hotel, food, and basic necessities so that she and her children could find a small sense of stability amidst that chaos. The next day, Rachel met with an advocate in person. Together, they began taking the first steps towards safety and independence, filing an order for protection, creating a personalized safety plan, and exploring options for stable housing. In the days that followed, Rachel and her children were able to stay with a trusted friend as they prepared for what came next. When it was time for court, Rachel did not have to face it alone. SVA's legal advocate stood beside her, offering both guidance and reassurance. Her order for protection was granted, an important step toward reclaiming her safety. With that protection in place, Rachel and her children were able to return home. SVA helped ensure that home felt safe again by providing security measures like new locks and a doorbell camera. Small but meaningful steps toward restoring a sense of control and peace in her life. Rachel's story is one of courage, but also a reminder. No one should have to navigate those moments alone. At SVA, I like to say that we are there every step of the way. We're there to walk with these survivors and help care for them. Here's another example of one family that's now thriving because of SVA.
I was in a pretty bad relationship for almost 4 years. The last year probably struggled with how to leave and get out, and there was a situation where I had to call the police and they helped me get out of my apartment, and then I was living in an extended stay hotel with my kids. I was kind of running out of money and resources. I reached out to the county for help, and then they told me about Southern Valley Alliance. They actually helped me get out of that extended stay. They helped me get into this place. Kaylin would always say, "We're here to help, and I'm here if you need me." And then she checked on me twice every month, at least, to make sure that I was doing okay, and always asked if I needed something, and if I needed something, she would, make it happen. And so that was really nice to know, that there's somebody there.
So behind every story like this is a network of support. And volunteers are an essential part of making safety and healing possible. Volunteers provide so much for SVA and those we serve. The way volunteers get involved include answering our crisis line, accompanying victims to court, helping with our support groups, providing childcare, and helping staff outreach activities at booths and tables at county fairs and festivals. As well as volunteers, SVA couldn't do the work that we do without community partners. Some of our partners and board members include law enforcement, the county attorney's offices, healthcare, county health and human services, churches, culturally specific providers, and schools. Our vision is to see more businesses involved with our organization. Our budget has grown significantly over the past 7 years. But at the same time, government funding has become increasingly unstable, putting a substantial portion of SVA's federal and state support at risk. As you can see by looking at the far two left bars on the graph, we have a significant reduction happening this year in our state and federal funding. We've spent years building up our organization and expanding our programs to meet more client needs, and now we're looking at significant program reductions. If we do not find a way to fill these funding gaps, we're at risk of at least temporarily reducing programs like our transitional housing and prevention education. We're evaluating these funding gaps and working to strengthen and expand community partnerships as a key strategy for sustainability. And this is why business partnerships matter more now than ever. So what does a business partnership with SVA look like? We believe partnerships should be a two-way street. For businesses that want to support SVA's work, there are lots of meaningful ways to partner. That could look like sponsoring an event, organizing an employee giving campaign, donating needed items, or offering professional services. All of these partnerships help us extend our reach and our impact. Partnership with SVA is important because domestic violence doesn't stay at home. It shows up at work. It affects attendance, focus, safety, and overall well-being of your employees. With nearly 8 million lost workdays each year, this does have a real impact on businesses. And when we say 1 in 4 women experience domestic violence, that means this is already affecting your workplace. You just might not know who. There's no one right way to get involved, and it doesn't have to be complicated. It might be inviting us in for a short presentation, putting up a crisis line poster in a break room, or keeping brochures available for employees to access privately. Some of these small steps can really make a big difference. At the end of the day, it's about making sure your employees feel supported and know that help is available to them. When businesses take small steps like these, it can make a real difference for your team and your workplace as a whole. So when businesses step in, it directly helps offset funding gaps. It means we can answer crisis calls, provide safe housing, and walk alongside survivors as they rebuild. Since I am not from the business world, I am asking for your expertise to help SVA. Here is our strategic ask. How can SVA effectively engage businesses to build mutually beneficial partnerships? This can include financial gifts, sponsorships, educational resources for businesses and their employees. So we're looking for your big ideas here, and I'm really excited to see what you come up with. Thank you.
Thank you, Christy. So just as we did with Light of Hope Kenya, we have time for a couple of questions for Christy from the big group. So any questions for Christy? Yes, Nick.
What does a mutually beneficial partnership with a business look like?
Describe a mutually beneficial partnership with a business.
It can mean a lot of different things, and that's what I'd love a little bit more feedback on. Since you're from the business world, what would beneficial mean to you? So what can SVA give to you, as well as what can that business give back to SVA? So looking for your big ideas and your creativity here.
So what does value look like to you as a business leader? What's valuable to you? Is that Christy coming into your workplace and educating your staff about what domestic violence is and the signs of domestic violence? What does that look like to you on that side of the partnership on the business side? And then what kind of support would you lend back to her as a business owner or business leader? Yes.
What does a current customer journey, or in this case the partnership, what does that journey look like? Do you have even if you don't necessarily tell them the whole plan, being able to do like a lunch and learn and then a drive, is there a journey that you typically take people through?
What does it look like with businesses now? Is there a typical journey that you work with businesses on? Is that right, Mitchell? Did I okay.
Yeah. I think every business is different. So sometimes they just want us to come in for that lunch and learn and provide some educational resources for their staff, and we can definitely do that. It might grow. Maybe some of the staff then are interested in getting involved and want to host a drive, and so we have a couple different businesses that will do drives throughout the year of different things. Then maybe they'll join us as a sponsor at one of our fundraising events further down the line. So it can really be up to the business how much they want to participate in that, but there are lots of different opportunities to get involved.
Great. Any other questions? Yes, Christine.
Yeah.
So Scott and Carver counties, that's where you're located.
Yep.
And you mostly serve, but are you restricted to serving people within those counties? And talk a little bit about that.
No, we're not. So we are open to serving outside of that, and also looking for business partnerships outside of those two counties.
And do you currently serve outside of Scott and Carver counties, or do you have kind of an idea of like the percentage of people that you serve within the counties, those counties, and then outside of counties?
Yeah, the majority are from Scott and Carver counties, but because we do operate that 24/7 crisis line, we get lots of calls from all throughout the state, sometimes outside of the state, and we can help those individuals as well. And if it isn't the right fit for our services, we're in that coalition, that network, so we'll refer them to a appropriate agency.
Great. Well, we are going to now get ready to go into brainstorming, but before you move, please listen to these instructions. I got you this time. Usually, everybody starts moving before they listen to these next parts. So this is really important for you to know. You don't have to stay at your current table, at your table that you're at right now. You can move to a table of where you want to brainstorm. So we have on this side of the room Southern Valley Alliance, and on the other side of the room Light of Hope Kenya. And I do encourage you to move to another table because it's a chance to meet other people and facilitators. I'd love for you to do the beginning of your brainstorm time, go around the table, have everybody introduce themselves, and share why they are here. This is a good time to go and throw away your trash or recycling. We do have recycling as well. And talking a little bit about brainstorm ideas. Think of it as really, really clear, practical ideas that you can implement, not these big ideas that it's hard for the executive directors who are reading through your ideas to understand. So try to be as specific as possible and actionable as possible. That's just really, really helpful. So we're really grateful for this time and this energy that you put into brainstorming, and we will have 30 minutes for brainstorming. Thank you. All right, I'm just coming up here to let you know you have 5 minutes left of brainstorming. So now we have a clock going, so you know that you have 5 minutes left. Thank you. All right. Thank you so much for giving of your ideas. Thank you so much for your time with brainstorming. But if you know me, I like to end on schedule because I believe that you give a lot of your time to us. And so to honor you, we try to end each of these AMP sessions on schedule. So thank you for your thoughtful ideas during brainstorming. We do have survey cards at the middle of the table, and facilitators, I would love for you to take those survey cards and pass them around your table. It really does help if you fill those out. We do implement the ideas, and it's very, very helpful for our team to get that feedback. If you are interested in connecting more with Amplify, and you want to find out about what does it look like to be a coach, you saw some of the coaches stand up here tonight, or you're interested in being a mentor or a consultant, we have the Get Involved corner back here, and our VP of Programming, Angela, will be back there. Love to meet with you, but if it doesn't work for you to connect with her tonight, we have Dig Deeper coming up, where you get a chance to dive in deeper with Amplify on Friday over Zoom with Angela, and she'll share a little bit more about Amplify and how you can take a deeper dive into our community. Okay, our AMP Accelerator. So after tonight, what happens is we put together all of these ideas into our summary report, and then we share them back with the executive directors. And then that initial coaching team sits down with the executive directors and our Amplify staff, and we help build out an action plan. What can they implement to solve their issue in the next 90 days? So on the AMP Accelerators that you are all invited to, the executive directors present that 90-day action plan. So we would love to invite you. If you weren't a part of brainstorming for that nonprofit tonight, you can still join the other AMP Accelerator. But what that looks like is if you have more questions or you have more ideas that you didn't get into tonight, it's a time where we just really come alongside that executive director and just pour into them during that time. So you will see the two different times. They're both on Thursday on your screen. One is at 8 o'clock in the morning and the other one is at noon. So we'd love for you to join us for either one or both if that works in your schedule. The way to RSVP for that is on your form, but if you need to go home and check your calendar, we will be sending out an email tomorrow and on Thursday with a reminder to email us and let us know if you want to join and RSVP for that. Okay, our next AMP session is going to be July 28th, and it's going to be back here. And a lot of you have been writing on your surveys that you want more time for networking and community building with this community, which I absolutely love. So we heard you, and we're going to do that on July 28th. We're praying for a beautiful, beautiful summer day, and we're going to have Lion's Fire Pizza, who is a nonprofit serving youth, and the youth are employed through this wood fire pizza truck that we're going to have in the parking lot. They're going to serve us the pizza. Be wonderful. And we're going to have some light music, a time of networking. But what we're asking is that you come a little early. So 4:30 will start for that community building time, but the actual program where the nonprofits will be presenting will start at 5:45. So really fun evening coming up July 28th for our next AMP session back here at Christ Presbyterian Church. So again, an email will be coming out about how you can register and sign up for that, but we hope you do mark your calendars and join us for that as well. All right, a few final reminders. Please grab your feedback form and your survey card before you leave your table. There is a box right outside of these double doors where you will put that in before you leave this evening. And that's important that we get that back from you, so thank you for that. And be watching also in the email about our fundraiser. So again, Sunday is the last day of ticket sales, but we'd love for you to join us if that's something that works in your schedule and you'd love to be a part of that. That's on May 13th. It's a breakfast with Kevin O'Connell, the Vikings head coach, as our keynote speaker for that morning. So thank you so much for being here tonight. Thank you for giving back. As I said at the beginning of the evening, Amplify does not work without you. So thank you so much. We are so blessed to have had you here with us tonight. Thank you.